of all, we're doing this as a remembrance and trying to tap into the brains of East End Xenia people, because our East End that we've all known and loved is fading away. It's going.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the East End we knew. It's not the East End we grew up with. So we just want to capture that as much as we can. So that's what we're doing. So my first question to you is, whoever can answer first, what do you remember most about growing up in the East End?
The main thing, I came from Dayton and went to school and all, and was integrated there. But when we came to Xenia, it was all black. And that was and that was the main thing that really excited me.
Okay.
And that we all had equal things in school and everything. Where I went to Weaver at the grade school over in Dayton, Ohio, and we didn't get to be called on. We could raise our hand up and be called on like the white. But when we come back to Xenia, when we moved to Xenia, I was really excited. Just the idea of being, a black school.
Absolutely.
And, yeah. Mm-hmm.
How old were you?
I was 13 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Teenager. Okay.
I think because I wasn't born in Xenia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was born in Dayton.
Mm-hmm.
And my father came over here. He was sick, and I was 13 years old.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Probably when things we did at Middle Run Baptist Church.
Okay.
Like, 'cause I didn't really hang out at the park. I was a good kid. But
Good for
Middle
you.
Run used to have a lot of stuff for kids and families where we were always doing something fun at the church. I mean, besides our own families.
Okay.
And at my grandmother's house, who lived on Church Street, I loved going over to grandma's. And I had good memories over there.
Okay.
And me as
Charlie?
well at the church, she took that, but also at the school. So she's got the church at Lincoln
Okay.
and East Side at the school. Fond memories.
We had fun in the East End.
There you go.
We rode bikes, climbed trees. Me and Whitney climbed that tree in front of her dad's grocery store.
And who was Whitney?
Whitney Anderson.
Your
She
next
also
door
grew
neighbor.
up in the East End, yeah. And we would play Red Rover, and then we did an Easter egg thing, didn't we? You call the Easter egg colors, and you'd run
Easter
and
egg
try to
hunt.
break through the line across from you. But we had a lot of fun. We could stay out after dark because there were not predators like there are now. And I was poor, but I didn't know it because I had food to eat.
None of us did.
I had food to eat and a roof over my head.
Well, my fondest memory is just being able to walk around Xenia. My grandmother allowed me to just walk any place I wanted to, stop at my friend's house. I had a curfew. I never really followed the curfew,
None of
but
us did.
I had a curfew. But you could stop and see friends and talk to people and go places. If you wanted to stop at the store in the East End, there was a store. I remember getting excited. Rickman's Q's had hot tin roof ice cream sundae.
Oh God.
And it was it was hot chocolate over ice cream. And I just couldn't wait. I always asked Mama, can I go to Q's and we get some ice cream? And I would get that. I was excited about that. Just being able, and I loved the playground, just being able to go to the playground and run around, play softball, hang with your friends. And I enjoyed fondest memories at Third Baptist Church, where I grew up, yes.
I didn't come to Xenia until I was 9 years old, and we lived on Clifton Road off of 68. And I was in the 4th grade under Mr. Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived on 2nd Street and had fun with Thelma Anderson
Mm-hmm.
and Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cunninghams lived across the street, and they were kin to the Bordens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Curtis was right up the street because he was much younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And the McPhersons,
Mm-hmm.
uh, DeWitt Thomas, Pluma Thomas's husband.
Husband.
Her in-laws lived across the street, Margaret and William Thomas.
Mm-hmm. I remember
The Laos.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
so we got roller skates and we'd go down Columbus Street and somebody be at the bottom up waiting to see if, let us know if it was clear to skate down
Skate
there.
on through.
Oh, my Lord.
And that's how we had recreation because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of places we couldn't go because Xenia was very prejudiced.
Mm-hmm.
And
Still
we
there.
only had one theater you could go to, and that was Orpheum. You couldn't go to Ohio, and the Xenia at that
Right.
time hadn't been built.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the beginning of my life.
Was Lexington Park built or established when you were a
No.
little girl? Oh, okay.
Hmm.
And we weren't allowed in Shawnee, but we would go down there, and we'd have to run when somebody called the police.
Wow.
That was fun. That was fun.
Wow.
Well, I think high school.
Okay.
We had a good time. You know, we went to Xenia East, and at that time we had basketball team. We followed the basketball team to Covington and
Lincoln. Then what's the one that's right within
well,
Cincinnati?
all these little cities around here, close to Cincinnati and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Dunbar, we followed them to Dunbar.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
We had school dances. We had talent shows, and we had very good teachers. So it was a very good experience, my experience at East High.
Okay.
And then I like, you know, at that time, the black community had doctors and lawyers, and so Xenia, I was growing up, was a good little city to me.
Absolutely was. When I was growing up too.
One thing I remember is the day after Thanksgiving, going downtown to see Santa Claus
Oh, okay.
coming in on. He came in on the train.
Train.
Karen took me, and then she'd take me to the bus station. and We eat.
Don't tell mom and daddy. She goes, hey.
But one thing with them going to Lincoln, like I said, a lot of people they knew in the East End. I didn't because I was at Lucinda Cook, and then at Lucinda Cook, when they closed, at Lucinda Cook we had white people there. So by the time we went I went to McKinley, I was used to white people, whereas they didn't have that.
What I liked most was the just feel of family. Everyone felt like family.
Everybody says that.
We called everybody aunt and uncle, whether you were biologically kin to them or not. Everybody was aunt and uncle.
And cousins.
And cousin.
Yes,
Everybody was aunt, cousin,
Did you
uncle,
go?
and cousin.
And everybody, and the parents could correct the children.
Everybody. You can get spanked anywhere.
You were doing something wrong, anybody's parents
You get
corrected
spanked on
you.
Church Street.
Yep.
You get spanked on 3rd Street. You get spanked anywhere.
Yep.
And
So-
if you did something wrong in school, everybody
knew
from the school to your house knew about it.
Yep. 'cause
And your parents found out about it
our
as soon
parents
as they
went to
got
school
home.
with all the teachers.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were corrected
That's right.
and didn't make that mistake again.
Growing up in the community was probably the most important thing. Being around folks from the time we entered into kindergarten into the time we were able to graduate from high school was a true blessing and a pleasure. Going to school from kindergarten to the 8th grade before the schools were integrated was extremely important. Of course, I love sports. Stayed at the playground as much as I possibly could as a kid growing up. And it was all a true blessing, all a true blessing.
What's your fondest memory?
Fondest memory of the
Oh.
East End.
Let's see. Um, I'm just walking around town. And we would go up one street. Well, we didn't have nothing to do, so we just parade up and down. But just remembering the homes, you knew where everybody lived, and and it was. I like that about the East End, and all your friends were right here in town,
Yeah.
and just the people we went to school with, the people we went to church. So really felt like you were in protective areas growing up,
That's a good one.
and I liked it because I knew I was safe.
Okay, I'll piggyback on that. Also, community, the closeness. As I said, if you did something wrong by the time you got home, hey, my parents knew about it and what's going on, and they would take the proper measurements. But I remember the East End, we were self-contained. We had grocery stores, we had Mr. Hasty's, we had a dry cleaners, our Uncle Carr, David, he had that. What else did we have? We had so many little mom and pop places. We didn't have to go downtown really for anything. I just remember Mr. Hasty had those nice big pickles. I always liked those and stuff. But it's kind of self-contained where we could take care of ourselves up here. There was a little grocery store, but he had everything that you really needed. And I said, there's other things too. And the closeness. So like I said, because, we just close. We went to school, we came to church. And we just had that closeness, and everybody looked out for everybody.
It was a sense of family.
Yes,
It was
yes,
I wanted
yes.
to say that,
It
but
was
that's
really
what it
a
was
sense
like.
of
Yes,
family. Because
yes.
I can remember, like the Newsoms were on that corner, and then we were on Main Street in Harvenia, and Whitney and Kathy Anderson. I mean, all across the street
That's
from
right.
in our block.
Yes.
And you could walk, and you're right. You go to the drugstore. You go. It was just a close knit area, and you're right. You always felt safe. There wasn't any place you couldn't go, and you wouldn't, because somebody would know your parents.
Yes.
And say, you better get your butt home. What are you doing out here?
Yes.
That sense of community. You're right.
Yes.
Now,
You're
you
right.
said something about Hasty stores. What other business did you remember in the East End that gave us fun?
Oh, I would say the beauty shops.
The beauty shops?
Beauty shops or the barber shops. I was scared to go across to the barber shops and then we had Mr. Wilson's the pool hall. There was a bunch of boys, and I was always afraid to go across there.
The street.
Yes, the
Across
cozy
the street.
corners,
Yeah.
and we knew where the drunks were.
And then, you guys remember Q's?
Yes,
Yes.
the ice cream.
Yes, I do.
Drugstore. Thank you, because
Yes,
the
the
drugstore, we got our drugs
drugstore.
from him.
Yeah.
We had prescriptions and things, and again, ice cream, and then we end up with a barbecue stand. I think it was Don's father, Mr. Johnson.
Yes,
I think.
Mr. Johnson.
He had that and stuff, and then, like I say, I remember my aunt Maxine making me go up to Hasty's to get her pads. I hate that, but she would call Dad and say, "Send Terry down here." I used to hate that.
That is funny. That is funny.
But it was there.
Yes.
They didn't have to go downtown and get it. It was there, and it was
And I
easy for
can
her.
remember in my block there was the cab stand,
That's right.
and then there was a chicken poultry killing place kind of farther down. Oh yeah,
Okay.
right down, almost like you're headed towards where Blues used to be.
Yes.
There was a poultry thing right there where they killed chickens and all that, and I vaguely remember that.
Okay,
Yeah, I have to
now.
ask Carmenia because I bet
Okay.
she remembers that. Okay.
Okay.
That house forever and ever.
Okay. Okay.
Well, what I remember most of my childhood would be the unity of the community. When I say unity of the community, my parents gave everybody in the community permission not only to discipline me, but to lead and guide me whatever they saw me doing. And if I wasn't doing what was right, all they'd do was make a phone call and I'd get my behind whipped
When you got
on the
We all
spot.
got a dime dropped on us midday.
I'm talking about I didn't have to wait till I got home. I'm talking about whoever saw
Me
me
either.
had that right.
Right.
And then they call and I get one when I got home too, if not two. Because my mother would get me first. Wasn't no shame to her game, and then my father would retaliate after that without asking questions. But I also remember the unity of the seniors because even though we couldn't participate in their conversations, there was unity in our community to the point where down in my neighborhood, which when I say neighborhood, not like Beanie, we was only allowed on the block. And the block was from one corner to the next. It wasn't the square block. It was just within yelling distance. If they yelled and you didn't show up, oh, you got a whipping. I mean, because back then everybody sat on the front porches, and that was the most embarrassing thing for everybody to be laughing while you get whipped up the street.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
We kind of stayed on the same block, didn't we?
the unity of the older folks, I was telling my wife just the other day, the unity of the older folks is where I learned my work ethics and my respect. Because even though I couldn't participate in the conversation, my dad and I were so tight that where he went, I went. And after all the old men in the community would get together after their regular work jobs and help each other. Like if Mr. Green needed a roof on his house,
We talked about that.
he didn't have to go look for nobody. All the old men would get together and help him out. Or if Mr. Thomas, which lived across the street, if he needed his house painted, all the old men would go and paint Mr. Thomas's house. I mean, that's what type of unity was in the community.
Right.
And it gave me the work ethics because I was poor, but I didn't know I was poor.
Thank you. We all were.
And, you know, my one little pair of shoes for Sunday and my one little pair of shoes for school, I was happy about that.
Right.
But there was one thing that motivated me at a young age, and that was the fact that we wanted to go to the fair more than once. And it was me, myself, Marvy West, Bradley Brown, and Tommy Smith. All of us were big for our age. So we actually started a tree business at 14 years old. And my mother said, boy, you ain't cutting no trees. You don't know nothing about trees. And my daddy said, anything that boy thinks he can do, let him do it.
That's right.
So the reason we chose trees is because when we was having a conversation, we said, well, if we cut grass, ain't gonna be enough money raised in cutting grass for all four of us to go to the fair more than once. But if we cut the trees, which at the time it was Mr. Dewey and his wife, they had a tree over there.
Miss May.
Miss May, that tree was that big around. And all the tree surgeons in town told them that it was gonna cost them over $1,000, which they didn't have that money. So we sat down and we said, well, if we cut that tree down, then we can make at least $100 a piece. And man, we could go to the fair and have a good time. Yes. So we established our business. I was 14. Marvy and Bradley Bradley was 14 too, but Tommy and Marvy was 15. 13. Yeah,
12 and 13.
The deal was equal pay for equal work. and I was scared to death of heights. But that broke my fear
Okay.
because I knew if I didn't climb like everybody else, I wasn't gonna get paid.
You wasn't going to the fair.
Yeah.
You wasn't going to the fair.
Right.
Well, I hear you say your talents and your skills.
God gave
however you hone them, yes, God gave them to you.
God gave them to me.
Huh?
God gave them to me, Lois.
Uh-huh.
And you know, even to the point where I was in the tree business for 50 years. Never had to advertise because my work, what I learned from them old men, worth ethics, caused a word of mouth type of atmosphere and sustained me in business for 50 years after that.
Okay.
Well, we were always a close-knit family. I've always admired my oldest sister because she had 8 children. I couldn't imagine raising 8 children, but we were close, and my father, Orville Saunders, made sure that all of the grandkids went to Sunday school and church. He went every Sunday morning. He would go around picking up grandkids to take to Sunday school. And we did a lot of things together. We had family meals. We even, the kids now talk about how do we all fit in that little small house, and everybody had a place to sit, everybody ate, and we all fit in there. So
What church, Sonny?
we went to Middle Baptist Church.
I kind of figured that.
Born and raised in the Middle Run. I was baptized when I was 8 years old.
And there were 5 girls, my mom, my dad, Orville and Amanda Saunders, and there were 5 girls, no boys, and we lived at 936 East Church Street. I was born there and stayed there until I left, got married and left, and the house is still standing. It was 936, and then later years they changed numbers, and now it is 818 East Church.
I'm just trying to picture the house, and I'm trying.
It's right directly across the street from Sonny.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
I was born in Springfield, but I lived in Xenia.
Okay.
Same as me.
I
Okay.
was born in Xenia.
Xenia, but
Yeah.
you two were born in Springfield.
Springfield.
Okay, but grew up in Xenia.
Yes.
Well, did you 3 ladies attend Lincoln Elementary or East High Schools in Xenia?
Me and Karen did, but
I went to Lucinda Cook.
privileged one here.
So you didn't even go to Lincoln. Oh.
Didn't know nothing
And
about
you went
it.
to Lucinda Cook.
Out in
Okay.
Wilberforce.
Well, what to the oldest 2 sisters, what were some of your memories about being educated in Lincoln Elementary?
Well, I would say for me, it's because we were taught with someone our color. And I just feel that they related to us more so. We went to, well, you did too, didn't you? Did you go down to the, because we left in the 8th, when I was in the 8th grade.
I was in the 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
They transferred me down to the middle school, which was Central at the time. And it was okay, but I didn't have the interaction with the white teachers as we did with the black ones. And we just kind of, when we were in the East End at Lincoln, we kind of bonded. We bonded. Didn't so much when we went down to Central. And I knew that, it was coming. I knew it was coming and stuff, but it was a lot different. To me, the teachers at East High School, they cared. If they saw a problem with you, I remember Miss Taylor, because she didn't like my handwriting. So she made me stay after school, and she would write something out, and she had me write because she didn't like my handwriting. She says, "Oh no, I don't like this." So she cared enough to make me stay after school, and I had to write my lesson out. And then, of course, my writing improved and stuff. But again, she cared. She cared enough to do that for me. and stuff. And there was more discipline back there. We didn't have all this backtalk like they do today and stuff. And it was just more disciplined. And I'm glad at the time I didn't like it, but I do now. I appreciate it now. Okay.
Well, Karen, is there a particular teacher that made an impression on you, one or two?
Let's see. I think probably Miss Bellis. Because she was a good teacher. She really was. There's a lot of them, but she stood out.
Okay.
When things would go wrong, she'll pull you aside and, want to know, well, what's going on? Why are you acting that way or something? And you can tell that she cared about how we felt about things. And she was a good teacher. Yeah.
Now,
And then just the one thing too, the teachers knew us. And if you got in trouble, by the time you got home, it was known. And of course, the proper, discipline was taken care of. That was the one thing I liked because we were a community and everyone looked out after each other. So that was the one thing that I did like.
Okay. Well, how were your parents involved in your schooling? Being honest.
I don't think my mother really. She would help with the homework and stuff, but it was always different. Did she help you?
No.
Okay, I don't think they said too much about our schooling. Do you think so?
No, you just
No. And if we got in trouble, we just waited till we went to school the next day or asked a friend. They didn't do too much about the education. I just asked somebody because they were so busy trying to make a living and try to take care of us and stuff. They just not really thought.
Okay.
But they did say we were going to stay in school. That was a definite. You were going to stay in school and graduate.
Tell me your fondest memory of growing up in the East End. An activity or something.
You start.
Sharon?
Me? Yeah, you start. See how they do. What was your fondest memory?
Your fondest memory. You went to Lincoln Elementary.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to did you go to junior high as well?
I went to kindergarten at Lucinda Cook.
Okay.
All at Wilberforce.
Okay.
In kindergarten because they didn't have a kindergarten in Xenia. And so Mr. Johnson had a bus and he picked children up and I was able to be on the bus and went to kindergarten at Lucinda Cook.
Okay.
And then Lincoln.
This is a funny thing, and I don't know if I'm supposed to do this or not, but I can remember my dad, Frank Lindsay, taking me to Lucinda Cook for elementary school.
Okay.
I can remember holding on to his legs like I was going for an execution.
He was scared.
Crying and screaming because I didn't know Wilberforce. I didn't know any of that. So he could have been taking me to Africa for all I knew. I was so upset. And finally he said, well, we're just going to have to put you in a school in Xenia because you ain't going to. I said, nope, I'm not going to be out here. But that's what I remember about Lucinda Cook.
One time, I was on that same bus. And I was very bashful and quiet. I'm not that now, but bashful and quiet. And she didn't have them wait for me to get on there, and they kept me until the higher students' time to come in. And I cried all the way back. Nobody get me to stop crying because I didn't know anybody on the bus.
Oh, okay. Bless your heart. See, I
And
know.
so she still has to look after me now.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
She does. Yeah, she does.
Okay.
Well, I went to elementary school out at Central State, at Wilberforce, at that time, Wilberforce University.
Lucinda Cook.
And then I went to, no, that wasn't Lucinda Cook then. It was just a laboratory school at Wilberforce.
Is that right?
Yeah. And then I went to what they call the Wilberforce Academy, which was a high school, and I went there 2 years. But in 1948, when they split, they closed the academy, and I came to Xenia. So I spent my last 2 years going to Xenia High School, East High School. And it was a culture shock because the academy was run more like the college, you go class and then you're finished class. And I ain't never heard of anybody going to a study hall. You went home. And so Mr. Hasty, who was an excellent principal, said, no, it doesn't work like that. You got to have study halls because you just don't walk in and out the building like that. But he was very good to me. He allowed me to work in the office. And I could get out the building because I could go in from those sales that they had. I could go down to the bank and deposit that money and come back. And because I had a hard time dealing with the uh, study halls. And I guess by not going there the 4 years, I didn't think, I didn't immerse myself in the high school. But I had always had a lot of fun and participated a lot in the church groups. And I remember all the Bible schools that we'd go to down with Christian Church and First AME. They would have it together, and that was always a lot of fun.
What church did you go to?
I went to Zion.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
What church did you go to, Ben?
Zion. But like she said, we would go to
All the other
Christian churches for vacation Bible school.
Yeah.
They had them all over Xenia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember going to any.
There was one down on 3rd Street.
I only went to the one on with the Christian Church and First AME. But we participated. At that time, they had the Hattie Jackson Gill Girls. And then we went to, Mary and I belonged to that. I don't know if you belonged to it. And then Mrs. Eula Kennedy, who is Eugenia's grandmother, was the instructor for the Hattie Gill Girls. And you memorized a lot of a lot of Bible, did a lot of Bible study. And she'd have you running around there finding answers to things. It was, and then we went to different cities to the assemblies or conferences or something. And that was different. But then I had a lot of friends in Xenia, just walking up and down the streets of Xenia.
We certainly were walking.
We had to walk. We didn't have a car.
And then the Sunday's entertainment was after church and dinner. My daddy would walk us. We went, at that time, this Greene County Museum was on the corner of 2nd and Monroe. And the log cabin was on Monroe Street.
Mm-hmm.
And that big white house was the museum. And I don't know how many times I went in that log cabin and saw those same Indian arrows and arrowheads, what have you. And then we would walk down the street and get a cone at Velvet's on Main Street. Then we would walk down there to the train station and see the trains come in.
And this is all Sunday after church.
Yeah, this Sunday afternoon.
Once a year they brought those pigeons up and they let you go down and see the pigeons.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
Pigeons.
that.
Where?
Yeah, they would bring them from up south and bring them to Xenia and turn them loose.
And one time we had a
What
lot
now?
of
Pigeons.
Pigeons,
They used to bring them up and turn them loose, and they used to go look at
And
the
nobody
pigeons.
said nothing?
man.
That was it.
It was an annual thing every year.
It was those homing pigeons.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I wouldn't see my sisters left home. And I was there by myself the last 4 or 5 years. Then you could go up to the train tracks and leave the door open. You could get a watermelon. You weren't supposed to, but you did.
But see, we had different experiences because
Yes.
she didn't go to Xenia school to high school.
Right.
George Fern went in.
The second
She
grade.
went to Lincoln. I didn't go to Lincoln, but I went to the high school. So we came to
Different things.
different
Now,
times.
where did you go to elementary school?
I know, on the campus. I'm like Gene. I went on the campus to elementary school.
See, my daddy taught out there.
You see,
So then we
And,
went to school there. And then we wanted to go to high school in Xenia. Well, when I got to be my freshman year, my mother was in the hospital, had surgery. And we didn't have a car. The hospital was in Dayton. So I asked Daddy, I said, could I go, I'm going to go to Xenia. And he said, you have to ask your mother. Well, I couldn't ask my mother. So when she finally came home, because, you didn't go in overnight and come home. When she came home, school had been in session for a week or two. So I said, forget it, I just go. Well, the next year, Mary was right behind me. Mary said she wasn't going out there anymore. So she came to town, and then when she came to town, Bet and Joyce Verne came with her.
Okay.
But
But we came at different times, you know.
I
We
had
came
Miss
to-
Castle, Mr. Bennett, Miss
Okay.
Nickens, and Miss Booth.
Okay, same ones I had.
Yeah.
I didn't have Miss
heard about
Booth.
her.
Yeah, I didn't have Miss Booth.
Cause see, they had Lincoln. I went to Lincoln.
I went to Lincoln.
Then the high school.
I was going to say another thing about the East End that I remember. We, our class was the last class at East Junior High, 9th grade. And we always had 9th grade graduations. And of all days, something was wrong with my grandmother's clock. And I don't know if Leslie, if you remember this. So I get up to the school and I was supposed to be in the front marching everybody in. Everybody was already up on the stage. And I was like, oh, Lord. Leslie was with me, but an adult came and walked me up to the stage to my seat. And it's just weird how things happen and then you have to learn to cope. But yeah, do you remember that, Les?
I remember.
Yeah, we was walking together. The time got by, I couldn't tell you.
one time they had a lot of excitement. The president of Liberia came in on the train, and he's going to see the president out of Wilberforce. And my daddy and I were down there watching, and this Pullman, whatever they called them on the train, motioned me to come aside. And he gave me this little jar of caviar, which was from Liberia, which I treasured for many years, and then it disappeared.
Okay, it started out, like I told you, at kindergarten on the Wilberforce University campus, Wilberforce, Ohio, in kindergarten, when I was 5 years old. Then came in the first grade in Xenia, Ohio. I came to the first grade because Lincoln Elementary School, all the way through to high school. From the elementary school all the way through to East High School. We all were in one building. When we came to junior high, 7th and 8th grade, we were still in the same building, but we were with the upperclassmen anyway. We were intimidated, some of us, because we were ushers in St. John AME Church, and we were getting ready to go into the 7th grade, several of us. And it was one, I don't know if you remember Charles, the Reverend drummer, the drummer family. He was a minister at our church, St. John AME Church. Well, his son was 2 years ahead of us. And so he had us scared to go to junior high. And he said, ooh, they're going to drop these, they're going to give you a test and you're not going to know the answer and they're going to give you a test, you won't. And we were scared to go to junior high. And it was me and several of us, we were all ushers, we were junior ushers in the church and we were standing out in the hallway. We were going the next day to junior high school. We went up there to junior high school in Lincoln East High. And I was surprised. I said, he told us a tale. I said, this is nothing. They didn't scare me. I'm just talking, just what I would say to anybody.
Yeah.
We were surprised that we were all intimidated because he had us scared to go to junior high in the 7th grade.
One big bully.
Yeah.
One big bully.
And it was nothing to us.
Now, what year did you graduate from East?
1956.
And was that the last class?
No, 1957 was the last class.
57.
My sister Joyce was in that class.
Oh, okay.
So we were 2 years in age apart, but she was put up in from kindergarten to first grade, because she passed into the first grade before she got out of kindergarten.
Okay,
So she was a year behind me, but 2 years younger.
okay.
I went to East Lincoln
Okay,
and Xenia High School.
okay.
And
And East High School.
East High School, okay.
Yes.
Were you graduated from Xenia High School?
I went to Xenia High School and did not graduate, but I did go to Xenia
You
High
went to
School.
East and then you went to Xenia?
Yes.
Okay.
And I went to Lincoln Elementary and then East High School. We were the last ninth grade class graduating from the which was East Junior. We were junior high at that time, and then I went to Xenia High and graduated.
Did you have
from
any
junior
problems
high.
transitioning from an all-black school to an integrated school?
Yes. In
Did
fact,
you?
our class had the first sit-in at the high school. So
Is that
yeah,
right?
we had the first sit-in at the high school. So
Okay.
a lot of things started changing, after that. Even before that, there was a difference between, but we had a sit-in. I could remember that.
Yeah, I went there the second year that we integrated, and it was a terrible, horrible experience.
Is that right? Tell
Yes.
me, what were some of the problems?
We were called the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
We were spit at.
Wow. Wow. I went shortly after that. I didn't have any of that. I'm blessed to say.
Yeah,
I didn't have any of
yeah,
that.
we did.
Wow.
Not by everybody.
Oh, I know.
Not by
I know.
everybody, but that's what you remember
Uh-huh.
is having had that experience.
Uh-huh.
So I moved to the Xenia area in 1982. Had lived in the Wilberforce area and then moved into the Xenia area in 1982.
From Wilberforce. What's your family name?
So I am not from the Greene County area.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay. Okay.
And moved to Greene County. Originally moved into Beaver Creek in 1979 and then relocated to, actually, we moved to Wilberforce in 82 and then in 80, I'm trying to keep up with all the days, then moved into the Xenia area, and in 87 I moved up on East Church Street.
Okay. Was that your only residence, was East Church Street?
In Xenia. I lived on Oregon Drive just prior to East Church Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the address on East Church Street?
841 East Church.
841 East Church.
Is that near Patton Street?
It's kind of midway.
Okay.
Kind of midway. The home was owned by Betty Adams. If you're familiar with where Betty Adams lived.
Okay.
Yeah, that was her house.
Okay. Okay. Miss Plum?
We walked, so we didn't have a bus.
Okay.
We lived on the outskirts of town in the country, but we went to Lincoln and East. And we walked from Jamestown Pike in. Jamestown Pike is 35.
35. Wow.
35.
Oh, wow.
So we walked in every day. We'd run home for lunch and rush back to school.
Is that right? Run home for lunch.
Then you had to go back that far for. And then we get back before the bell rang. But one of my fondest memories was when I was 9 years old. Mr. Ross Cowan owned a strawberry farm, and he gave we children the opportunity to pick berries. And we made, I think it was 3 cents a quart. And I bought my first dress. And my mama handkerchief, my dad a pipe thing of tobacco. I went to the Orpheum Theater. I went to Kresge's first and got a hamburger and a Coke.
And I got all of that out of the 93 cents that I made.
Oh, wow, 90.
Which a lot of times now people wouldn't believe that.
Wow.
But they did pictures at school. And I wore that dress that I bought. And I have in my home an old picture of me at 9 years old.
Is that right?
I was 9 years
Wow.
old and I bought my first dress, and that was one of my
93
fondest
cents.
memories.
Yes, yes. Charlene, you were very involved with all of the churches and have been most of my life. And you started at Middle Run, correct?
I've always been
a member.
when I was growing up.
A member at Middle Run. Okay. And now you go to Glorious Church. What churches did you attend in between then?
My husband, remember, was pastor in Jamestown
right.
at First Zion Baptist. When I left Middle Run, it's because he took pastorship in Jamestown.
Yeah.
Or I probably would have always still been at Middle Run.
Rhonda, what churches did you go to besides
I went to
Middle
Middle Run until 1989, and I moved to Indiana and joined a church in Indiana, but then I ended up joining my father's church in Jamestown. I would just come back sometimes, back and forth to church, yeah. I had a church, but I just missed the church in Jamestown. In the city, it wasn't the same. People weren't, it wasn't that same fellowship that I was used to, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But and in Glory Ministries, I go there now.
Right.
Yeah, after my dad died, that's when I joined Glory Ministries.
So, Terry, we're talking today about the East End of Xenia. Where exactly do you live?
I live in Fairborn.
Okay, and how long have you been in the Xenia area?
5 years.
5 years. And at that 5 years, you've been coming here to Zion?
Yes.
Tell me about it. Tell me about your experience here at Zion.
Well, I think I've been going here to Zion 4 years, not 5.
Okay.
I love gospel music.
Okay.
So I looked around at, it was the 25th anniversary that they had here, and Sweetie, one of the members here at church, invited me.
Okay.
I saw her at Walmart one day and she said, why don't you come? She's friends with my granddaughter, AJ. And she said, why don't you come to our 25th anniversary?
Okay.
And I said, I'll be there.
Okay.
So I showed up and she was surprised that I showed up. And from that point on, I became a member and singing choir, and I really enjoy it here.
You really enjoy it. That's great.
Yes.
So you feel like you stepped into a community through the church?
Yes.
Okay. And you feel that community has treated you, I won't say equal. I guess that's the only word I can think of.
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
don't notice any change.
Okay.
And if you're talking about color, I don't notice any change at all.
Okay.
No, I'm just one of the sisters. I'm
Well,
on the
that's
missionary
great.
team too.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes,
Now you said you like gospel music.
I do.
What gospel music do you like the most? What do you listen to?
Oh, I still love Aretha Franklin
Okay.
and Elvis.
Okay. All right.
I really thought Elvis, instead of him being a rock and roll, should have been a gospel all the way through. And that was really where his heart was.
And that probably would have kept him here a lot longer.
I
That's
think
where
so
he
too.
was. Yeah. If he'd have gone in that direction.
I agree.
What church did you go to? Did you go to United Christian on Main Street?
East Main Street.
East Main Street? Okay.
I went to Zion because that's where my mother belonged.
Okay.
But I liked, my friends and all went to the old East Main Street Christian Church, and that's where I joined in November 1949.
Wow.
What was your family church? Did you all go to the same church or?
No, we didn't all go to the same church.
We started off
With
Where did
Third
we start out?
Third Baptist.
But Granny always went to Middle Run.
No, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
She all went to Third also.
All of us went to third.
When did she switch to Middle Run?
remember
When
you
we
moved
moved
up
up there?
there on Church Street.
Okay.
You get all that?
I got all that. I got all that. The family church was Third Baptist with the offshoot to Middle Run.
And now he ends up in Middle Run, and Aunt Lee is at what's the name of your church?
City of Zion.
City of Zion, Jamestown.
Down
City of Zion.
Zion.
Jamestown.
In Jamestown.
Church.
Is that right? Okay.
Something new.
City of Zion.
And I don't go to church in Xenia now because I don't live in Xenia, but I do come back and visit. Yeah.
I was baptized in 1944 at 15 years old by Reverend Casey, C-A-Y-C-E.
Wow. Wow.
It's my only church home, so I can't.
I know. I know you haven't been anywhere else. I knew that. How about you, Phyllis?
I grew up in Middle Run Baptist Church.
Okay.
And when we decided, a lot of us young girls decided we all wanted to get baptized baptized at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother waited until everybody else had got up and she came and took me out. She wouldn't let me get baptized, and I'll never forget it. Deacon Finch gave her a lecture, and so I got to get baptized by the next Sunday. But that wasn't a lot of fun. All the other girls got that before.
Yeah.
And so when we now have a new minister, and when he was going over some things and finding out who had been there and stuff long, they gave me a kind of a plaque, because I still remember being baptized in 1948, and they gave me a thing for it, and I still go there, and I go if my sister needs me to sing,
Right.
or
Right.
Her people can't sing it good enough for me, I go ahead and do it.
Well, just let me say, I have met your minister several times.
Oh, isn't he
He's
wonderful?
nice as he
I
can be.
absolutely love him.
He's as nice as he can be.
And he is good friends with the new minister
Yes,
at
he is.
Bethel.
Yes.
he
That
is.
is good
I
too.
love him too.
Oh, I know.
He's such a sweet.
First time I met him, he put a wig on.
Yes. And so I will be at Middle Run week after next because he's speaking at Middle Run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's speaking.
And
that's right.
he's very nice, and he talks to people with, just as if you've
Open.
known each other.
Open.
Like
And
you
that's
know-
what I like about both of them. There's no pretense.
No.
They're
That's right.
just as real
Right.
and open
Right.
and all that. But like I said, I'm doing too much
Excuse
talking.
me.
Right.
Go ahead, Lois.
May I add to what she just said?
Sure, sure.
She holds the oldest membership at Middle Run.
Okay.
Membership. She's
Oldest
not in
membership.
age, membership.
Oldest
But I am
membership.
80.
That's
I
what she
am
got the
85.
flag for. She got baptized in
Yeah.
1948.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she holds the oldest membership.
Got it.
And
Got
my
it.
mother held it before her.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know grandmother held it. Oh,
Your
I probably
mother
forgot.
was teaching. She told us that she was teaching a men's Sunday school class
She did.
when
Okay.
when she was 18 years old. She was teaching a man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just remember going to Lincoln School. And in 1961 is when the integration came in and they sent us down to Central for junior high. But I can remember being there at Lincoln, and it was like one big family. And I remember Shirley walking me to school when she was a senior in high school, walking me to school, to kindergarten, she and Joyce. And but when I got there, it was well, I enjoyed it because I was in school. But like I can still remember back kindergarten, us having that sliding board in the room. You remember that? Okay. Miss Gloria Newsom was my kindergarten teacher. And I believe her name's Hill now. But She was my kindergarten teacher. And I can even remember the kindergarten graduation. And Mama made me this pretty white dress for graduation for kindergarten. Then I went to the first grade, and Miss Young, Ruth Young, was my first grade teacher. And well, I can name all my teachers. My second grade teacher was Miss Clarity. My third grade teacher was Miss Chapman. My fourth grade teacher was my father, Mr. Bennett. My fifth grade teacher was
You didn't get Miss Bayless?
no, I went to Miss Smith. Yeah, Beatrice Smith. And then sixth grade, I had my father again, Mr. Bennett. So I had him for fourth grade and sixth grade.
Okay. Now, with your having a father that was at East High and Lincoln, how did that? How were your parents involved in your schooling? Now, I mean, he's right there, so he wasn't the only one. But how were your parents involved in your school?
My mother and father were very involved. And anytime there was something going on at the school, she was there also. I can even remember sitting up those steps in the auditorium for basketball games, and Joyce was a cheerleader. And like I think I said it before, I remember her graduation and Joyce's graduation. Yeah.
You see, involved. Daddy never helped me and Joyce with any homework. Kids thought that we got by, we didn't. When I could say, I can see a person, you think you're cute because you're a teacher's daughter. I got that too a lot. But he never helped me and Joyce with it. He didn't have to. We knew we had to do it. But she's right, they both were involved. But kids can be cruel. They thought we got spatial privilege.
Right.
We didn't, and Daddy did it on purpose. He never helped. He never had to though.
We wanted to. And they wouldn't get, when you're going to get a whipping, you're going to get a whipping. And Mr. Bennett would walk with that paddle underneath his arm.
Yeah, Mr.
And if you saw him coming to it, you had to stop. What was I doing? Did I do something? Is he going to paddle me? Okay.
Well, you all have a lot of intertwined relationship with Wilberforce and Xenia because of where you went to school and your father, taught out there.
True.
You have a lot of back and forth. Because I was a person that did not have a lot of connection to Wilberforce.
It was one thing about going to school.
Yeah, because our friends were the teachers out the Wilberforce and
Exactly.
stuff. So we were kind of, and I bet you we were the only ones growing up that did not have relatives in Xenia. See, everybody in Xenia was kin. The Stills, the Thompsons, the Corbett's, they were all kin. You better not talk about
all kin. We were outsiders.
We were kind of like outsiders.
Well, my mother and them, they came from Dayton, and they really didn't have relatives in Xenia, but the relatives would come to Xenia and stay for a long time.
Well, we didn't even have that.
And that is so interesting to me because it never occurred to me that you all felt like that, because with me and my grandmother, I've known y'all all my life. I can't remember when I didn't know you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, to me, I always just figured you were here like I was here, but not
They
so.
migrated here when I was 3 months old.
Huh?
My family migrated here when I was 3 months old.
From where?
From where?
My mother was from Richmond, Virginia. My daddy was from Mississippi. Sunflower Club.
Indianola, Mississippi.
Indianola,
Indianola.
Mississippi.
Indianola?
Yeah, Indianola, Greenville, down there where
Who's the blues singer that's from there too?
BB.
the one that played the guitar.
BB.
Yeah. Well,
BB,
he was from
BB
that
King.
area.
Wasn't
But
Muddy
he left.
Waters.
He was from there.
I saw that one Sunday morning before you come to church. That program comes on at night.
Okay.
They had
okay.
him, and that's where he was from. My father
Okay.
was from.
So my daddy left there and went to Tuskegee. And then his brothers followed him, two of his brothers and one of his sisters followed him to Tuskegee to go to school. Of course, at that time there were trades. So my daddy was a liner type operator. And of course, nobody knows what that is now. But at that time there were a lot of black newspapers.
Okay.
And so that was a good trade. And then his other two brothers, one was a tailor and one was a builder in construction. So when they finished, they went to Gary and worked in the steel mill. You know, that was booming then for blacks because a lot of them went there to work for the thing. And my daddy worked at a lot of different newspapers, particularly out in Kansas and Missouri. And then he went to work for St. Luke's Press, which is in Richmond, Virginia. And this was owned by a lady named Walker, not the Walker that did the hair stuff. And she was very, very, very well to do business. And she built, they had like an insurance, and then she added a newspaper to publish it. So my daddy worked there, and he was doing quite well.
Mhm.
He met my mother. My mother worked there. Her mother was there too, worked there.
Well,
and then the
I do
Depression
know-
came,
Well,
and that, of course, the newspaper, couldn't handle it. So then he got the job to come to Wilberforce to run the print shop here, and that's how we ended up here.
Where'd you go to church?
First United Christian Church. That was where my in-laws were members, and even though I was born and raised in the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church, when I came here, my in-laws were part of First United, and that's where I ended up.
And your in-laws were the Wilsons.
The Wilsons.
which Wilson?
Sarah Levada, Sarah Ann, and Charles.
And Charlie?
That was her husband, Charles.
I went to Charlie's services. Were you there?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
didn't know that. What do you feel that the people give to you from the East End as you've come into this church that's been here how many years? Over 100 years?
Yes.
How do you feel the people who were raised up in the East End what do you feel they've given you as a church community that represents the East End?
They've literally embraced me.
Okay.
And all the elders that are in the congregation have really taught me a lot about this church.
Mm-hmm.
And how they grew up as little girls here, and they're in their 90s. I mean, yeah, that to me, that is somebody that really has been a church person all their life, which I wasn't to grow up. First time I went to church, I thought, wow, this is really neat. They give you cookies and Kool-Aid, and that's what a child should start off with. It's like, well, I'm comfortable doing that. What is the Lord going to do for me? I grew up Catholic, and then my mother was Baptist, so I wanted to find out what they were like. So that's what really hooked me into being a Baptist.
Tell me about the housing. When you guys moved, could you just move in the East End, or could you move to the north or the south, or was everybody was in the East End?
When we first moved here, you didn't go below Columbus Street.
Okay, okay.
Everybody lived on the east side.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And strictly black.
Okay.
Oh, we had one Chinese family.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Okay.
We did have one. They were the laundry.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. I love this.
There was one other white family, the Leakley family.
Okay.
Yeah, they lived over on where did the Wilsons and them live?
A Patton?
No. The other Wilsons. Shot in them.
Oh, on Orchard, Orchard
Orchard
Street,
Street.
Orchard Street, yeah, Orchard Street.
Did I remember the transportation? We had Mr. Johnson's taxi,
Oh,
the cab.
definitely.
Okay, was he the only one that was transportation that was up here in the East End? Was there others?
Well, John,
We had Jameson.
John Jameson had
John
it.
Jameson.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
He has a
so-
taxi cab.
Okay, yes,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I just remember Mr. Johnson
Mhm.
and Miss Johnson, and then I didn't remember anybody else. I think after that, it was just the one.
Well,
I remember.
what did Mr. Hercules drive or Popeye drive? The bus?
Oh,
The bus.
The bus.
The bus.
Okay.
The bus.
Mhm.
Okay.
That was the bus.
Because I went to
Wow.
Lucinda Cook
Yeah.
also
oh, okay.
for a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, you talked about housing. We lived in the East End, but we lived in different housing. I'm quite sure Aunt Lee did too, but as growing up, we started at the home place where Arlen and I were born on Market Street. And then we moved to Main Street, and then we moved to Market Street up on the hill, and then we moved to Church Street as children. We grew up, the last part of our adult lives was on Church Street. at
But
the
you
corner of
always
Church.
moved and lived in the East End.
And yeah.
Moved in different areas of the East End. Okay, all right.
I've been in my house over 80-some years.
Oh my
The
goodness.
same
The
house.
same house.
Lord have mercy. Wait a minute, I gotta find something like that. How many? 80?
Yes.
Jesus. And he came as part owner of
No, he worked for me.
He was the manager. The
Manager.
manager.
of Glenn's
Okay.
funeral home.
Yeah.
He never worked for Mr. Winfrey?
No. The MacLynn Funeral Home bought the funeral home from Mr. Winfrey.
Okay.
Yeah, and when he bought the funeral home, I know, that's really going back. When they bought the funeral home from Mr. MacLynn, CJ MacLynn bought the funeral home from Winfrey, and then had my dad come over and manage as MacLynn Funeral Home.
Okay. And Xenia now does not have a black
No,
mortuary.
and then, let's see,
We have a black
no,
black
no,
Sydney?
no,
Oh,
no.
it's
They're
not
gone.
Sydney.
Yeah, they're gone. Dad opened up his own business, his own funeral home across the street on Main Street.
Yeah.
I gotta remember here, I got married in 81. So I'm gonna say, oh my gosh,
I can't remember.
somewhere around 80, a few years after I got married. So I'm gonna say somewhere around 83, 84, maybe
Okay,
85. In the
okay.
80s, mid-80s, Dad opened up Colbert Funeral Home on Main Street. Yeah.
Okay, Miss Irene, have you been a member of Zion the whole time you've been here?
All the time I've
Always.
been here. Always. Yeah.
Who was the minister when you first came?
Oh God, what was his
Hanley.
name?
Was it Reverend Hanley?
Reverend Hanley.
Okay.
He was the family friend. Yeah. Mhm.
And do you remember some of the businesses that were in the East End?
Oh, yes. Rickman, Q Rickman's Barbers, not barber shop, drugstore. His sister next door had a beauty shop. There was Cozy Corner,
Mr. Hastie's,
Mr. Hastie's,
Smith's Grocery.
Smith's Grocery Store around the corner.
You notice the girls don't say pool hall, but
the pool hall, I do remember. I do remember.
I lived across from the street from the pool hall. Didn't we, Sharon?
Yeah,
And
I
it was-
remember.
It was the pool hall and Edge Lounge.
Edge
and
Lounge
Cozy
was
Corner.
it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we had Dixon's Dry Cleaners.
Yes.
Oh, now see, I never thought
Yes,
about the
that
dry
was
cleaners.
right next door to where I live now. Used to be Dixon's Dry Cleaners. He lived there and then had the dry cleaners.
where you live now?
The
On
next
Church
house.
Street?
The next house up was Mr. Dixon lived there, and he had his dry cleaning business in the basement. Was it in the basement?
I think it's interesting because I was just sitting here thinking, and everybody we have talked to, nobody mentioned Miss Hardine's podiatry business. Hardin over on Second Street.
I do remember that now that you brought it up.
But nobody's mentioned that. It's interesting.
My mother went there.
I remember.
And if she was still there, I'd be going.
What was the lady? She lived on Taylor Street. She made hair grease because I remember when my daughter was born, she had very, very short hair.
Who did?
And what was
She's gonna have to come over here.
what was she? Gracious, they
I know we had Peacock's grocery store too.
yeah.
Peacock's was on Taylor Street.
But she had she made hair grease.
Okay.
And
all right.
and I
Now,
used
I
that.
I knew that.
I used that to oil. No, I'm trying to think of what her name was.
Wasn't being.
I can't remember what her name was, but I know she made hair grease because I used to get it in a little jar, and I used to pinch braid her hair, and when she was born, she had very short hair. And by the time she passed, her hair was short.
That was some good grease.
It was.
Who were your childhood role models in the East End as you were growing up?
My mother,
My
and grandmother,
Yeah.
and the people at the church. Some of the people, not all of them.
Okay.
Some of the people at the church.
Well, I can just say parents in the whole neighborhood.
Okay.
That's true.
That's true.
Because I
Yeah, because they would get
Oh,
you.
yeah, the same.
They get you.
Neighborhood.
My grandfather, who really, I guess his job was the janitor at East High School.
Okay.
However, he did practically 50 to 60% of all the electrical work in these homes in the East End of Xenia.
Okay.
You know, there's another situation where you got a guy who's more than capable of being an electrician, but because when he grew up, he couldn't get a job as an electrician.
Yes.
Even though, like I say, the majority of the electrical work in the East End was probably done by,
Okay.
And what they used to call him jackleg, if there was a jackleg minister. And the thing of it is now that it's so different, you can't find nobody like that.
No.
Don't nobody know how to do nothing. Nothing. And the ones you call to do something don't know what the Sam Hill they're doing either. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Yes, it
is.
You've lived in the East End for a few years.
Yes.
Can you tell me what you think is important to the people in the East End neighborhood that you currently live in now, or when you first moved there?
So when I first moved there, because I no longer lived in Xenia, I left Xenia and just came back last year, but now I'm not living in the Xenia area. But I will say the community life was real important. And, I felt that's always been important in every community. But I found, being within the East End community itself, you were building relationships. You knew your neighbors. I would say my kids were up at Lexington Park. The church I could walk to because it's right there on 42. And so that community piece was very important. And I remember the years that a group of us in East Xenia formed the East End East End Family Resource Center when we were trying to do things to help improve the neighborhood. We had, worked with the police, worked with the city.
And what was it called, Kathy?
The East End Family Resource Center.
East End Family Resource Center.
And so through that center, we had gotten grants through the community health program is how we get the grant. And we're able to try to do things. We had a lot of forums here at Zion Baptist, political forums, education forums to try to help the community be informed at what was going on with the city, the Xenia public schools.
Who all was on that committee with you?
Chris Vaughn was on that committee. I'm getting older now. Names.
Were there mostly people at your church?
No, they were across the whole community.
Across the community.
Because I want to say that was early, and I'm not sure when Reverend Chapman started here, but it was kind of, I'm gonna say early years because we did meet here a lot.
So
Thomas Scrivens was so involved with the city. He helped us with pieces of having conversations, which got some of us going to the meetings down at the commission meetings. Because we were interested. At the time, we were very concerned about drugs in this community. And so just we're trying to do things to bring people together. We had, and I wish I could think of her name. Now, she was kind of like a director when we were doing some education programming with the youth. And then we also had, we had the drill team, the boys and girls drill team that we formed as a way to try to get the youth involved. And
that was the East End.
That was East End. Debbie Akins was part of helping us organize the kids. Debbie Akins. Erica Foster. I'm just trying to think of names of people that helped us because their kids were involved as well. So those are some of the, for me, not being from the community, but living in East End, those are some of the things that I just really felt near and dear about. And I thought it was a way to show that we really cared about the neighborhood.
So what happened to your group?
Over time, it just kind of,
dissipated.
As the youth got older and, people started finding other things they were interested in. But I would say the kids were really successful because I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years they were together as far as like with their drill team, drill corps. They brought some trophies home. Because they competed in Springfield, in Dayton, in local areas where there were other drill teams and drill corps and drum corps because the boys were the drummers. So it was a pretty successful opportunity for the youth. And like I said, we had different things. The Masonic Temple, we had events there occasionally, like family dinners and special occasions at Christmas and so forth. And we were trying to make that connection with the mental health community because at the time, TCN, the community network, was interested in how they could help. How could they help people in the community? And we know mental health has a stigma to it.
Yes, it does.
And so
especially among Black folks.
So the organization was trying to bridge that gap and bring those services in. One summer, in conjunction with pastors, the community network, and our organization, we had a youth summit where we had speakers come in and they talked about drugs. And so forth, and how to build leadership skills. And that was a successful event. Talked about, when I say birth control, trying to get the kids educated, in terms of sexual behavior and so forth. Cannot remember I have the file at home. I just can't remember what year that was that we had that youth summit one summer.
Describe your East End neighborhood growing up.
Our East End neighborhood, Columbus Street was a dividing line. White on one side and black on the other side. You could count the families west of Columbus Street, on both hands. Most of the people that lived in the block right around us on the side were Irish descent. And a lot of them were in the police department and the fire department. But basically, we got along real well with them. There was one family that was across the street.
Miss Hannafin.
Who? No.
Miss Hannafin.
No, the Lewis. They lived on 3rd Street in the house where the Feasters bought. And they had a daughter named, I can't think what her name was now. But anyway, they didn't want anybody else to, they didn't want her to mingle with the rest of it. Because now Suzanne, there were some there, Suzanne was the same age as Ben. And, but they were Irish, but her mother there was a store up there on the corner of Second and Columbus, who's Lagora's, and they lived there. But then they bought the house down there on 3rd Street, down farther. I think it was the house that Reverend Hamley lived in.
Mm-hmm.
But
we had good neighbors. I
but
mean,
we
knew
got
our
along
neighbors.
with them okay.
You remember Rainey?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the Bakers and,
Yeah.
Then there
and
was a girl.
Iola and all them. I mean,
Yeah.
Then there
good
was a
neighbors.
girl that lived up on the corner. Her name was Mary Ann Blair, and her mother was dead. She had 2 sisters, but she was a friend with Joanne. But both of them were older than us. This is interesting. Mary Ann was so poor, we hated to do the dishes, and the daddy would do the dishes for us. Mary Ann hired to wash the dishes every day for 25 cents a week.
Bless her heart.
What's a great joy that you've experienced being at Zion Baptist Church?
Being on the missionary team.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So you're on the team with these ladies.
Yes, I am.
Okay, and they embraced you. I could tell when you came in, they were ready for Linda Terry to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay.
How did the East End help you with your skills and talents?
Well, first of all, I took my sister to work to deal with Zelda Harris, Miss Booth's daughter.
Zelda Harris.
They lived next door to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was going to teach me how to play the piano, and then my sister was going to do something that was going to help her. So they interchanged their talents in order for me to get free piano lessons. Well, I started playing the piano, and she started with all the different antics and stuff, and that wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't want to learn to, the exercises with my fingers and move them and all.
Mm-hmm.
So she told my sister, she said, this isn't working because I can't teach her. So I've only had 6 weeks of piano lessons, so the rest of it is God.
Oh,
Wow.
all right.
Wow.
And tell them the rest of them, Mary Kay, you still playing.
Right. Still playing every Sunday at First United.
I'm telling you. And you play other places if called upon.
Right. Charlene and Leah, we're the only two. Only two in town.
In the East End.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so the East End has helped you hone your skills and talents from God. Harv, didn't you?
Yes.
What about your skills?
Well,
You're a heck of a teacher.
yes. I did become a teacher, math and all the sciences. Well, I think the East End, I had a lot of support in the East End. And one was Leslie's mother, Miss Betty Lindsay. She was always very supportive. She wrote my letter to go to Central State University. I still have that letter. And so I went to Central State. I was blessed. I think I did work study or something. Somehow it was paid for because we sure didn't have money. But I made it through, and I became an educator, teaching math and science, at first in Springfield City Schools, and then I moved to Dayton Public Schools. And so I was an educator and a counselor. I was a counselor for about 13 years, high school counselor. So I had 39 years in education. I had a good time. I didn't have trouble with students because I always tried to treat everybody fair. And I'd come up and call them and tell them, or in the class, I'd say, if anybody wants to know your grade, you may come up and I'll give it to you. And I said, and if you don't like it, I can lower it. so I didn't have any complaints about the grade. If you don't like the grade, I can lower it.
I love that.
And So I had a lot of fun. I taught math. I didn't teach biology in high school. Well, I did teach biology. I taught all of any kind of math or science that you need. I was at the alternative high school where the troubled students came to school, and I was very successful there. And I just know that every child just needs somebody to understand them and listen to them. You don't have any trouble out of them if they know that you care about them. So now I'm retired and I am just really enjoying retirement.
All right. And your children, you all went to school here in Xenia?
I'm the only one that did not.
Okay.
I'm the one that went to school in Dayton. I was a senior at Patterson Co-op in Dayton.
So you stayed.
So I stayed in Dayton, and
Okay.
I rode the little bus, Wilbur's
bus.
back and forth, during the winter months. Dad would take me back and forth because Patterson was downtown.
Yeah.
He would get up and take me over, and then I'd ride the bus back in the evening. Then when the weather got good, I started catching the bus in the morning, and yeah.
Wow.
So,
Well,
but
I did finish school in Dayton, but I went to boarding school.
Mom, you didn't go to school in Dayton.
I did go to the school, Sylvia.
What school?
You were way. Oh, I can't name of the thing. The first year or so we was there. But anyway, it was a Dayton school. Oh, I forget what the name of that place was.
Sinclair, are we talking?
A priest and them would know because some of them went to Lincoln Ridge.
No, Lincoln Ridge is in Louisville, Kentucky. It's in Kentucky. That's where UNA.
That's what I'm in the country, in the area here. That was there.
Well, you guys are special to us as a family because of your dad. I mean, for those of us that remember, Mr. Bennett was a coach, and I thought I saw pictures of him. Did he play a sport?
Yeah.
He played football for Wilberforce University.
Wilberforce. I saw that picture.
And someone told us that he was one of the fastest runners on football at Wilberforce.
Oh.
A man that went to my church, he told me years ago, said, your daddy could really run. I said, he did?
Man. Well, now.
He played basketball, this family basketball, all he and his brothers.
Oh.
The Bennett brothers, they played basketball. Here, it was really a holiday because one day out of the year, they would come and play basketball against the faculty at East High School, and they always won. My grandmother had 12 children, 7 boys. So all the boys played basketball.
Okay. I know. What do you think was the most important thing to the people, your role models or the people that were in your neighborhood? What do you think was most important?
I think helping one another.
It's like they said.
Watching out for each other.
It took everybody. What did they say? A village to raise a child.
Yeah. That was
That's
most important.
exactly.
That they made sure the kids in the neighborhood were doing
Or
what
in
they
the-
were
whoever they-
supposed to do, and they would tell on you if you weren't. It was important to keep that how you were raised still with you.
I think one of the important ones, they used to call me little neighborhood nurse. Because when anyone was sick, especially if they had upstairs, the older people couldn't go up the steps sometimes when they were fixing lunch. And I'd always run up and down the steps taking care of the sick people.
Okay.
So, but one of the most dramatic things that I remember was the 1933 tornado that turned our house upside. Well, we were in it coming down when the tornado turned it upside.
And you were in it?
You said your family, your in-laws, and I know Sarah Ann and all them were at United Christian. I know that there are some younger ministers in the area now. One of them is Tony Thomas at Bethel Temple, and the other one is the new minister at Middle Run.
Yes.
And one thing that they are definitely trying to do is be together as a group.
Right.
You know, because it's a small community, everyone's got small churches and whatever,
Right.
so they're trying to unite to some degree. How do you feel? What do you feel about that?
I think it's very necessary because, you know, I left here, I retired from Greene County Common Police Court at the end of 2005. And then in 2006, I went to seminary and got my Master of Divinity and was ordained as clergy in the Disciples of Christ. And so having been very involved in First United, even before that time period, and working a lot with the youth in the churches, we're doing things together. It's important. Now that, you know, I've been away, I was away for about 17 years and just came back to the community. And so now I am working with my own church, First United, to help us get back on our feet. And as we, COVID kind of did a disservice to everybody.
Yeah, it did.
And so I think at some point, as churches really find their grounding back again, then I think we will be more successful as churches coming together in the community to bring some things to the community that are needed.
Absolutely.
You know, we say our churches are dying, and so that to a degree is true, but at the same time, how do we re-envision who we are
And see,
as the church?
They say the churches are dying, but that God's not dying.
God,
It's man's church.
Yet alive.
Men are pulling away from church, but church is still church.
Right.
It's still right there, strong as ever.
Right.
His people are pulling away from church.
And so how do we, as members and pastors, how do we re-engage the community?
Absolutely.
How do we re-engage the people to say to them that, yes, the church is still vital? And these are just my own thoughts of having served in a congregation in Missouri for 10 years. How do we figure out what do we need to let go of?
Exactly.
And what do we need to envision as how we reform ourselves in the future? I was a minister of mission and outreach, so I went to that community 1 year after the big Joplin tornado.
Okay.
Specifically to help that congregation. A lot of the members lost everything, and at the same time, their pastor was very overworked in trying to minister to the congregation and involved in the recovery of the whole city. And so I ended up going to that community to do the help with the recovery of the people in the church as well as the community, and then began to help the church. They wanted to really know and learn how do we do mission outside of the four walls of the church. And so I spent my 10 years helping them to engage and partner in the community beyond the church.
Another thing that inspired me in my years up here in the East End was Mr. Richard Bennett.
Yes.
I too was in Harvina's class when we consolidated. And before we went down there as athletes to integrate the schools.
Xenia High School.
Mr. Bennett had a pep talk for us.
Oh, I bet he did.
He said, you guys are getting ready to integrate. And he said, remember all them uniforms that every year you take home and have your parents or your relatives sew up all the holes? He said, that's that stuff they throw away. He said, remember them shoes that you all put tape around every year to play? He said, they throw them away too. He said, that's their scrap. He said, when you go down there, you let them know that you better than they are. And when we integrated, we had 2 championship teams right back to back.
I remember.
But that was our motivation came from Richard Bennett and that pep talk.
Yeah, from
letting us
leftovers.
letting us know that, hey, we ain't second class. We if we ain't as equal, we're better.
That's right. That is absolutely right.
And
That's
we-
perfect.
And we kept
That's
that.
good.
We kept that in our heads. You know?
Let Mary Kay tell you about her class, the year she graduated, and how many students were in your class.
There were only 23 in our class.
What year?
1952.
Mm-hmm.
And that's East High?
At East High.
Okay, 22.
23.
23. Okay. All right.
What were the gathering places where you all would go to have fun with your friends? Where did you go in the East End?
We went to our house. I mean, we had friends at our house. We were not allowed, at least I wasn't, to go way up on the playground. Me and Joyce, we were protected. She had 4 girls and no boys, so we had to sneak up there.
Oh, you snuck up there.
Me and my
Okay.
Joyce, we would sneak up there on the playground. Mama never. We didn't stay, but we weren't allowed to go up there. That was when we were way down at the end of, almost to Church Street, almost to what was the sign? Columbus. Columbus
Street. You were
We
there
were
in
beyond
Columbus Street.
Columbus.
Yeah.
So they didn't want us going way up. We walked. We had to walk naturally. But that was one of the places was a no. I don't know why, but they would protect.
Okay. Well, now we go to the youngest sister. And what were your gathering places?
I can remember going up to the playground. I mean, not the playground on Lexington. First, the playground at the school. I can remember going up there all the time.
Okay.
And sometimes, mainly if I had stayed the night with somebody, then maybe we would get up to the playground.
Okay. Okay.
And as I grew up a little bit older in junior high school, well, I bowled. And I bowled on a team that we met every Saturday and went to the bowling alley. And that was me and Bernadine and Sharon Green, Nadine Copeland, and did I mention myself? Yeah, there were 5 of us on the team.
Okay.
And we did that every Saturday.
Okay. You have one of the most successful businesses in the East End, Colbert's Funeral Home. How did the East End treat you all? I mean, Black people living in the East End, did we always come to you to get for services?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we had no problem at all with that, to do that. Actually, there was some light also came to the Covert there, yeah.
But you have to also remember in those days, or in the days when Dad was an old school funeral home, funeral director. It wasn't just a funeral home. Dad used to have events at the funeral home like Christmas, Christmas. Even when he managed McLean, Halloween, Christmas gathering, little neighborhood events and during the tornado. Of course, that was when he was still at McLean at Market Street, but that was used for Red Cross Center. So blankets and food and all. Yeah, blankets and food and all that were serviced out of the funeral home in that time period. And you don't remember any? Yeah, because I was a teenager, so I was the one that had to be the ones to pass out the little gifts. But they were kids. But So the East End kids, everybody in the neighborhood.
And you said they had blankets and
during the tornado.
During the tornado,
they had blankets and food, and the ambulance was used for emergency transportation services.
And this is the one
on Market Street.
The funeral home, the tornado of 74. Okay.
Tornado 74.
Okay. Wow.
Were there any businesses that you as a family, you all took part in? Were there any businesses?
Well, during my time, we were not allowed in the restaurants. So I don't know what you mean businesses.
Oh, you like places you go to eat or to buy groceries in the East End. In the East End.
Miss Grocery Store.
Miss Grocery.
Miss Grocery Store.
Miss Harris.
No, Miss Smith.
Oh,
Right
Miss
next
Smith.
to the school.
Miss Smith, yeah.
She had a store right next to the school. We would go up there and get food, candy,
Fireballs.
all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you use the businesses for dry cleaning?
My dad used Kaiser's downtown.
Oh, okay. That wasn't in the East
But
End.
we went to Mr. Rickman. He was the pharmacist. Yeah, we always went there.
Dixon's dry cleaners. Remember Dixon's?
Yeah.
Oh, and I was gonna say, just so that we'll put it on record, she retired from Greene County Clerk of Courts. I don't know if you guys remember that. She worked for the clerk of courts office. That's where she retired.
Oh, in Greene County?
Yeah, here at Greene.
Yeah.
She actually was in the clerk of courts at Montgomery County when they moved here. She
Right.
stayed home for a while, helped Dad get the business going, and had my young brothers.
Yeah.
And then she went back to work at Greene County Clerk of Courts under what was her name?
Alice.
What was her last?
McCollum?
No, Alice Klinger.
No.
I can't remember her name. A long time ago.
What Miss Hamilton worked down there also?
Yes. Miss Gladys Hamilton was down there and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. See, you know a lot about Xenia in the East End.
Well, I spent most of my teenage years here in Xenia,
Okay.
and whatnot, and
When you were growing up, and Lois and I are about the same in age and that kind of thing. When you thought of getting married, what did your parents steer you to or steer you away from?
From getting married.
When you thought of marriage, when you were at marrying age.
I don't think I bothered to mention it.
Well, let's see, that was during the World War II. So you were thinking about you getting married and husband,
What you were supposed to do, probably.
Did they steer you toward the homeboys or to?
Had it been up to Mom and Dad and his
They
parents,
wouldn't
we
have
wouldn't
been
have gotten married.
Is that right?
But it was
Okay.
up to us.
They
and-
discouraged it. Okay.
And then they signed papers and got married early, and you think you're in love like you've never been before.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Ladies, thank you so very much. We are going to have to do this again.
Yes.
Because everybody's got such a wealth of information, and I know for me, it feels like the East End of town is just evaporating and going away.
That's true.
And I grew up in Memorial Day when we all got dressed and marched up and down with the parade
On Main Street.
and all Main
Yes,
Street
I
and all that
know.
stuff,
It's
and
gone.
it just feels like it's all going away.
I was
So
about this tall.
yeah,
And that
I
was
in
May
I was
30th.
marching with the high school, with the people that was graduating.
right.
And I was about this high. I think Mother had a picture of me out front of the church where she stood out here and took me as we marched down the street.
I tell you.
You're gonna have to do this again.
We are going to have to do it again.
There's so much
And
information in this room.
And another thing is, I can remember personally, and we got to get out of here, but I can remember personally, all your neighbors, like Wayne Newsom and all them were around me. And I have to tell this story. I had just started living in Arrowhead, and I'm going through the street, and we had been over to Don's, the old grocery store on 2nd Street. And I'm driving, there's a car behind me, and I pull in my driveway, and the person behind me pulls in the other driveway, and it's Rachel. I didn't even know she lived there. 2 doors down, and we're standing out on the street, both of us going, "You live there? You live there?" And we're neighbors. And in Xenia, and when you're in East End, you would have known.
You would have known who was next to you.
I can hear a voice telling me to let go. Oh. And it feels like is hiding from my eyes. I'm so low, searching for one brighter day, trying to find a way. But I'll still believe, even if I don't see. I'll hold on. I'll hold on. When it feels like my prayers are flown away, no matter how long it takes, I'll hold on. When I'm standing on my last leg, I'll keep going. I'll hold on. I can feel the world is changing all